Welcome back to the LCS for Game 5 of the upper bracket battle between Team Liquid and 100 Thieves. A winner books a spot in the LCS Finals, top 2 in the region, and a ticket straight to groups when it comes to Worlds. And it all starts here in Champions Select, my friends. 100 Thieves back to red side, TL on blue.
Bring it up! I love this
teams
moment.
Have come prepared.
Let's go. Diego instantly banned.
Okay, we were
respectful.
We were talking about it, like maybe they'll first pick it away. I feel like we haven't seen too much of a tendency towards it for Santorin, and you know, we already saw what Closer could do.
Look at that, and a Diana ban to follow.
Bard ban.
I think they've honed in on who they think the difference maker is.
You ready for a third?
If it's a Lee Sin, if it's a Lee Sin or a Xin ban, I'm just
respect.
losing it.
And I think the Diana ban is as much of a ban to make sure that 100 Thieves can't draft Aurelia mid as it is to shut down Closer, because Aurelia is a champion that I'm guessing someday doesn't actually play, given that they haven't prioritized it on him pretty much all split, whereas Abadaga does.
I was going to say, in essence, it's like a twofer, Mark, with what you were talking about. It shrinks Abadaga's pool, even though you're banning a jungler.
Speaking of shrinking the pool, Lee Sin, gone from the draft there. So that's 3 bans confirmed from Team Liquid.
So here's the Xin Trundle trade that we'll see if they want to do. They banned Trundle themselves, which means it's pressure on TL now to first pick the Xin.
Gotta.
And you gotta do it. And on that point about the Diana ban, why it's also so good is we don't really see FBI play too many of the bot lane mages, which is where the other place you can get a lot of AP damage from. And with the main AP jungler gone, it does limit Abadaga's pool, not just with the Aurelia, but a lot of the AD mids that you might see him go for.
Exactly. Leona hover currently 400 Thieves, but still a few seconds to make their final call here.
Yeah, and this is a pretty uncomfortable position, I think, for 100 Thieves. If you think about the remaining junglers that are available, sure, I guess you could pick Olaf just like Santorin did.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you can look at something like a Voli. Maybe you look at something like a Zac, but that doesn't really feel like a closer champ. So I think it's a really, really oppressive first round of picks and bans from TL.
This is where I'd want to see the Syndra.
Yeah?
I feel like Syndra blind, give Abadaga that agency. I almost feel like they left Xin and Syndra up, hoping
100%
that Jensen
intentional.
would first pick the Syndra and they could steal away the Xin and get a similar lopsided jungle matchup from before. But instead, they're going to jump towards the Olaf.
Something they can do is if Syndra ends up getting picked here, Orianna, whatever it may be here for Jensen, third pick, Twisted Fate, just so they at least have pressure, kill pressure on side lane, great dive. Another thing is, of course, just play through mid. LeBlanc being locked in from Jensen, though.
Yeah.
Jace as
And
well.
I was gonna say both picks.
Yeah. So I mean, this is a TL. This is so comfortable for them right now, right? Like you already have a top side that, at worst, you're gonna be going even. And I think, given what we've seen so far, Olaf being a tier 2 jungler and not a tier 1 like Xin, they're gonna have control over the top side of the map. And just like I think Raz was saying earlier, put all the eggs in the Alfari basket. I think that's exactly
We've
what
seen this matchup before. Ornn, Jace.
I don't like it.
I'm surprised that they actually prioritize top lane here, because I would have expected them to go mid, like a Lissandra. So now Team Liquid's going to have opportunity to just ban both of Abadaga's champions. Arise is being another one.
Well, I also think that the top lane that we've seen is they pinch Ornn in the second phase. They actually did it a couple times in a couple of the drafts. So this is 100 Thieves saying, well, we want to get Sum down as most comfortable champion. It's also currently a lot more stable of a composition. Xin, Jace, LeBlanc are champions that when they start falling behind, they look pretty terrible. And in this position, like, okay, well, Ornn will always have this long-range engage tool. And so right now, 100 Thieves, as much as I don't love it, is slipping a little bit back into that more teamfight-oriented red side style that they have right now. I really hope, like you're saying, that Abadaga's pool doesn't get pinched too hard, because I still want them to have that ability 2v2.
Yeah, I don't just not like it, I personally hate it. I really think it's important for 100 Thieves to have a really competitive early game here. And yeah, they did win the game where, game 4, or sorry, yeah. The game where they're 12K down, but we have to remember that was part of the big mistake. I think what the bright side is here is there's still some power picks available bot lane. For instance, like Kalista is available. They could run a Kalista Leona lane and look to just get really aggressive there, because I don't think they're going to be winning the top side of the map at all. So if it's going to be anywhere they can produce an early advantage, it's going to be bottom.
Definitely a more neutral approach to champions like so far for 100 Thieves. But now with the first pick in the second phase of picks, with a mid and a bot laner left to go, they're hovering the TF.
So the Twisted Fate, I think, was like their best option. They should hold AD carry, wait for Team Liquid to show their full bot lane. It's a good decision. and then they can just play aggressively through bot side. The Leona is set up so they do have a lot of ways to engage, and it makes it difficult for LeBlanc to actually, as the game goes on, find targets because the gold card's waiting for her, Leona's waiting for her. Great draft, in my opinion, so far from 100 Thieves as the game goes on.
I was worried they were going to go Lissandra, because I think that's what TL was trying to push them into with those two bans. Like, yeah, play Lissandra again. We'll have the ability. You'll be low damage. We'll be fine. But I think the TF does enable a lot more ability to snowball around the map.
Yeah, that was also my fear. Because if they go Lissandra here, it's low DPS. And also, yeah, Team Liquid just feel comfortable playing slow and playing through top lane.
Yeah, and I like that it just unlocks Abadaga to just be a little bit more proactive on the map. He's been pretty quiet.
How about that? Oh, where's that pick been all series long? And then in game 5,
yes.
in game 5, it's Core JJ who's going to pull it out and take it into the support position.
Yeah. I think the thing with Tahm Kench support is obviously he's not as good in that position since a rework, but he is okay into melee matchups because he has good harass in lane now because he has good damage. And I expect the Kalista lock in. Yeah, love it. Gives them the engage options bottom lane, and now with the Kalista, Leona, and the TF, they actually have the ability to threaten an advantage through bot and play through there. So I think this is a good last half of the camp select from 100 Thieves.
Yeah, they're trying to snowball bot lane. Tahm Kench is obviously a protection pick.
Yep.
You can try and save him, but without, you have to get 6 before you can do that. It's Core JJ who's one of your best players. The Bard versus TK is night and day in terms of like how much playmaking is at your potential. And I am concerned for Team Liquid right at the end here where we are so happy with the top side of the map that now all the attention might be focused down on bot lane, and I don't want to see that.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of playmaking that 100 Thieves are pushed for. Because if these are just like the lanes are in a bubble, great for Team Liquid. Abuse the Jace matchup, abuse LeBlanc and Xin Zhao 2v2. That's what I'm interested in. I want to see 100 Thieves immediately move towards bot side.
Yeah.
All right, well, all 3 of you called Team Liquid at the top of the day. We are all the way in game 5. We've seen plenty from each of these teams. Real quick, is it staying that way? TL down the line?
I'm going TL.
Yeah. Confident. Okay, confident. Thank you. And
Confidently, TL.
boom, there it is.
Let's go, baby. It's Team Liquid and 100 Thieves in the final battle. Game number 5 to determine who gets that shortcut straight to the finals. It's Team Liquid going back to this LeBlanc. They've got the Xin Zhao again. Alfari's on a dominant top laner. Meanwhile, Someday's back on the Ornn that's been successful. FBI's got them engage mechanisms. It is about to be exciting. And remember, my friends, if you want to get a closer, more personal version, more personal view of the game, you can check out the pro views of Jensen and Abadaga here in the mid lane. That is our featured matchup for this game. And especially with TF in the game here in game 5, Kobe, he changes the way both squads play the game so much.
Oh, yes, he does. And I'm going to give you a little spoiler right now, Flowers. Where do you think this Twist of Fate is going to go? Oh, it's going bottom lane. Oh, he's going to go back to front. Oh, he's going bottom lane there, too. Oh, everybody's going bottom lane. Jungler's going bottom lane, too. And we're going bottom lane for 100 Thieves here, baby.
Thank you, John Madden, for those incredible yellow arrows on the screen.
In case you didn't get it, this is a bot-focused team. They got some power to send down there. Someday's been playing weak side into Alfari over and over and over. Should continue along that way. So here comes the level 1 on, guess what? Bottom side.
Let's see it. Tactical and Core JJ are in the brush here. The late invade coming out from 100 Thieves. Core JJ gives them a lick, but they keep on marching forward. One axe into the brush finds Core. It's a fight over the red buff. This is what you want in a game 5. Core JJ keeps on walking out, does drink the single potion. Who he's now going to tank some damage here on the front. Remember, the Leona is not exceptionally tanky here early on. Santorin over the wall. Who he's still getting focused. Flashing away. Exhaust down at a closer. He has to flash over the wall too. Santorin flashes over and it doesn't work. Now Team Liquid's got to keep on fighting. Who he's going to be your next target. Tactical running away. Flash over the wall. Closer keeps on going forward. The axe will not find the target. Core JJ with a flash away to safety. It is a 1-for-1, but 100 Thieves has more health in the enemy jungle. They will not stick around to try to continue to steal the red. They will walk on out.
Round 3 of the bottom lane bonanza has moved to the jungle, Flowers. The level 1 all-in from the AD carries has infected the rest of the team. And you get flashes, blow blown across the board. Every member on the bottom side of the map of Team Liquid has used theirs. The only one holding theirs on 100 Thieves is Abadaga. Top laners are on their own islands, which is where Alphari and Team Liquid want it, so he can try and harass someday, create his own advantages.
Let's see it again here as Huhi was leading the charge, and 100 Thieves were hungry for some PvP.
And you generally want to try and abuse the level 1 of Olaf on invades like this, especially when you're backed up with CC from the rest of your team. But the damage from Brambleback actually means a lot in level 1 invades, and if they push past it, they take a lot here on the exit. This is the important part, though. The triple flashes over this wall all mean they can focus down and get the first blood bonus on the side of 100 Thieves. And then Tactical has very good flash long way over the Krug pit to get himself out. CoreJJ has to do his bottom side as well. But the big takeaway is the first blood bonus is meaningful in the level 1s like that. And we may have a follow-up.
But we also have a teleport coming in. Remember, there are no flashes for either player here on 100 Thieves, but it's both top laners showing up to the party. You said bot-focused gameplay, and we're getting it.
Yeah, I wonder who could have saw that one coming, baby. Light that sucker up like a bright light on the bottom half of the map. They're not even playing top laners on top lane anymore.
Forget about the island. Everybody's moving to the mainland right now. But I do want to point out, before we get any more battles, the money where the kills went. Jensen got the kill for Team Liquid. However, that first blood over for 100 Thieves went over to Huhi, not the ideal recipient.
True. I also wanted to see a pan over. Whenever you see level 2 or level 3 teleports to the bottom half of the map, you want to immediately pan over to look at the top minion wave. And it was currently pushed up to the tower from Someday. So now you see the slow push backwards. Very good preparation from Alphari. As Jace, you're shoving in the Ornn the entire time. He made sure to push it all the way to the tower to get it to bounce back before they go for the double teleports. And that's why, even though it is teleports answered by both top laners, it's a huge win for Alphari. Look at this juicy sack of gold waiting for him as he returns to the top side of the map in time to get it. Doesn't lose out the cannon, doesn't lose out any of these. It's going to further inflate this top lane advantage for Team Liquid.
Buying as much time as he can, even allowing the turret to fire the second shot and then kill the minion while the bullet is in the air. That slows down how fast the turret is going to be killing the minions and allows him to buy himself some extra seconds with this wave right near the turret, with Someday unable to really participate in much of anything. Abadaga and Jensen both level 5. Here is CoreJJ roaming around at level 2, and 100 Thieves are immediately onto the Drake.
I'm going to start calling this ward up here by mid lane the CoreJJ ward, not because he places it, because it's placed to see him and his constant attempts at roams towards mid lane. So 100 Thieves have adapted to the possible heavy roam style. They see him on this one. They start up the dragon. Well done by the 100 Thieves. Their gold lead has kind of been shrinking, but a lot of it was because of the giant double-stacked wave that Alphari was able to collect in front of his turret.
Yeah, you look at the farm up top side, 49 versus 26. Someday we'll be able to alleviate some of that discrepancy here as a pretty large wave is crashing into his own turret now. But this is a good opportunity for Alphari to go ahead and back, buy some more items. Already with the 3 long swords in inventory, should be able to upgrade one of those. Yep, there's the serrated Dirk, and there's the tier to start the stacking now. Santorin walking into the brush, Abadaga right there too. He tries to flash away, but the chains are ready to proc. They don't have enough damage to kill him, so they get the flash from Twisted Fate.
Pretty good timing window. However, all of the excessive rotation and counter juggling has been at a cost here for Santorin, lagging behind quite a few camps actually for himself. 3 of them behind Closer, and Closer is currently working on Krugs as well. So the Olaf is eaten up in the jungle. Meanwhile, Xin kind of scavenging around with all of the action off of the level 1 invade and the aftermath there. Good return presence by side 400 Thieves. Now it will be a timely reset here for Closer, who has gone, by the way, Blue Smite for Olaf, which there are definitely options for choosing both.
Yeah.
Red Smite is really good for a lot of the melee heavy setups and all-ins, but really the only one it would be good against would be Xin in this game. Blue Smite is so much better for walking up to smite someone before you throw your first axe. It's basically an axe prep smite. so that you don't have to waste a long axe or something and travel extra distance to pick it up. Blue Smite enables you to both hit that one, but also make sure that you hit it directly on the champion so you don't overthrow it, and you have the move speed to go pick it up quickly. So I like that little adaptation where you almost have always just brain off, oh yeah, red smite, you know, I'm an Olaf. I got to run into people and just fight whoever's in my face. But
I love some brain off gameplay.
Yeah, but in this one, he's facing so many range champs, it makes a lot of sense for blue.
Well, you can see 100 Thieves are positioning themselves around the mid lane, but ganking mid lane is a very different story for these two teams because LeBlanc is so evasive. She has so many ways to get away, and Twisted Fate has no mobility at all. So much easier for Team Liquid to apply pressure here than it is for 100 Thieves. But 100 Thieves now switching over to the topside river. Abadaga is down to 300 HP as Jensen goes in for some damage, but that doesn't matter. Abadaga is not the focus. It's just buying time and creating a distraction so that Closer can get his second neutral objective of the game.
Yeah, I too have a strong emotional connection to Shelly and get choked up sometimes when she's about to go down. Shelly dies, but she's gonna go to a good place, Flowers, in the hands of Closer. See where they can actually mine some money because Tactical does get a turret plate knocked off down there due to the extra pressure. Meanwhile, Santorin, after getting alerted that Rift Herald's been picked up on top side, tries to go for a little something on the bottom side. Level 6 and blue buff acquired.
Well, CoreJJ just goes through that abyssal voyage through the ground, gets himself to safety. 100 Thieves keeping on pushing up here. They will see Tactical, so he doesn't get his recall off. Yeah, just like immediate surprise out of the fog of war there. Now back here in mid lane, it's Alfari who might be able to set up a nice play here with Jensen. Abadaga's under a lot of pressure, and the man's got no way out. Alfari picks up his first kill.
Man, when you got a turbocharged Jace jumping on your head over here as a mid laner, that is a bunch of question marks. How did he get all the way down there? There's a giant wave at his turret. Cannon minion does go down during it, but it's a well-paid price.
Exactly. Alfari roams at a time when, yeah, there's a big wave colliding, but the cannon minion soaks up so many bullets that it means he can get up there to farm everything else.
And I do like when you see top laners like this, not just trying to get the most out of their lane and staying in topside. Oh, how much can you throw Shock Blast at the Ornn while the Ornn is under tower? Yeah, okay, you got another 200 health off him. Great. What if you get deep vision, you roam into the jungle, you place those wards on Krugs, on red buff, or you gank mid lane for your mid laner, you know? And yes, you do sacrifice your cannon, but you acquire a Twisted Fate.
Yep, Abadaga here in the mid lane, a little bit behind in terms of the farm. Has Huhi right beside him. They saw Jensen had used the distortion, so not really any chance to punish that right now. Huhi will clear out some of the vision. FTX total gold on the left side of your screen. You can see Jensen is about 300 ahead of the next closest ranking, which is neck and neck between Abadaga and Alfari, with Closer right behind there. So nice little bit of a personal lead for Jensen, but overall, still about plus 600 gold for 100 Thieves as a team.
I think it is, you know, gold in a good place for Team Liquid with how well Jensen has piloted the Magician thus far since LeBlanc has come back into meta. He's been very threatening. He's, been, rushing these second item spell shields so you can play as aggressively as possible, trying to play to the limits. This time around, Gold Guard is really hard to outplay, right? Because you get in range,
he points on you and he clicks you.
Basically, the only thing you can do is use your movement to avoid getting hit with any other spells, and then builds a Banshee's Veil.
Well, second Drake of the game going down on spawn just like the first one. 100 Thieves 11 minutes into this game with 2 Drakes means this is a very early threat of soul. It is an Ocean Soul as well, which is incredibly powerful when you have tanky champions. Leona, Olaf, Ornn, all of these can benefit so heavily from this, and that means Team Liquid will very much need to answer one of these next Drakes, as the Rift Herald is summoned up in bottom lane just for the guaranteed 2 plates. They'll pick up that money, and 100 Thieves is out.
I really do like it. Even though you love the dream scenarios, okay, we got a giant pick, we actually killed them, we can get a whole turret or something. Getting the early health off of bottom turret and guaranteeing that you already have your gold does set up for, guess what? Abadaga, Twisted Fate. He's actually had pretty good wave control here versus Jensen's threat on LeBlanc. He's rushed his Merc Treads. He's ready to play a Twisted Fate teleport down to the bottom side to go play off of the Callista Leona. And with the tower so low, you can gain so much value down there. I'm waiting to see the opening for it to actually happen. Jensen now gets gold carded into who he roam.
Okay, flash into the chain CC. Jensen is surely done for. He flashes away.
The last card.
But the last auto attack in the air from Abadaga takes him out.
What a play we're asking for. When's the opening gonna come? Captain Flowers, guess what? 2 seconds away, it's on screen. Who he roams up towards mid, the level 6 from Leona. Ultimate is dropped down on top of his head right when Jensen goes for this trade. It's at this moment when he goes for the distortion in, you know, they've got him. Who he's been waiting there patiently inside the brush. Gold card goes down, delays him going back. Who he doesn't hesitate to flash because he knows there's no answer for Jensen. Even with the flash out, the last auto was already in the air, and the card right between the shoulder blades.
And it feels so good, too, because even though the Ignite was on him and we didn't know if that would have been able to secure the kill, it is still who he's Ignite, and the last auto coming in from Abadaga puts the gold where they want it more.
Yeah, he's already jacked. He got first blood, okay? He doesn't need any more of those. He's got his steel caps and his stopwatch. He's full
He's ready
build.
to go. Yeah, exactly. That's all a support ever needs in his life. Gore Drinker up and running out for both our junglers. You can see Closer just purchased his 1,500 gold lead. For the side, 100 Thieves feeling good about this early game, man. 2 Drakes also under their belt, given more of those advantages. This has been a great start to Game 5 for them.
It has, because a lot of times, too, you can caution against, when there's so much focus towards, like, a Kalista bottom side focus, win condition dragon stacking team. Usually, those will have come at the sacrifice of other lane matchups and not having scaling options, even though you do have, harder ways to teamfight with your short range later for 100 Thieves. They have Ornn items to rely on from the top side, plus so much structure for their 5-on-5. So when it comes down to these neutral objectives, they have a lot of CC to work with the Ornn Leona and Twisted Fate as well. Not too shabby damage later.
Okay, Jensen gets away that time. The difference between this play and the previous one is Jensen had his distortion ready to go. So who he was not able to get that perfect CC chain that locked him in place to his death. Now Jensen returns a little bit of the favor, just tries to poke him a little bit, make him think about the next time he comes back to mid.
I know people do that all the time too to junglers that gank their lane. They're like, get out of here! You can teach you a lesson as you're trying to walk away. Any
just
little
smack
bit
him
of
in the head once or twice.
Any little bit of extra damage you can do to someone who just ganked you.
Abadaga locking in the gold card there, but Jensen not in range. He'll clear out his own minion wave here. And it looks like 100 Thieves are looking for their second Rift Herald of the game. Total neutral control so far. Everybody's up here except the AD carries. Does Liquid want to actually fight this? Do they want to contest? Who he's at about half HP. Santorin looking to stay alive here with the ulti. Devoured to safety by Core JJ, but now Core's going to be your target. He'll be focused down and Closer takes the kill. Everybody's joining up in the fight now as FBI will make sure that Team Liquid's not able to counterattack just yet. He will pull Huhi to safety, throw him right back out underneath the turret. Jensen goes in, but a good exhaust means the damage is not there. 100 Thieves get 1 for nothing.
Now, this is such a big play for 100 Thieves because they are the ones that are grouped together first. There's so much of an advantage of getting here first. While Team Liquid have the capabilities of answering numbers, they would have to bring Alfari all the way around through the jungle, and he's forced to actually use his teleport timer to try and join for the topside fight. AD carries were mirrored. AD carries were in a foot race from bottom lane, then they both started at the same time. Guess what? They're getting there at the same time. But top laners being sectioned out means 100 Thieves not only can they just turn on the Team Liquid bottom side of the flank there, but they also got Alfari's teleport cooldown out of it.
Okay, we also have the dragon spawning just now, and a lot of ultimates are off the table. Someday, Closer, FBI, Core JJ, Tactical, Santorin, all do not have those ultis ready to go. So this next fight could be very, very interesting. very
interesting. Yes, I see, Mr. Flowers. Well, Twisted Fate has his ultimate ready. And
can they find anything with it, though? Team Liquid grouped up pretty effectively right now. All 5 right next to one another makes it more difficult for Abadaga to find a good angle to set up for some kind of a pick. Closer running forward. He goes in, nearly dragged over the wall. Someday ulti coming through. Santorin's gonna be your target. Goes for the ulti yet again. Alfari grabbing the kill onto Huhi with a lot of damage coming through, and Jensen grabbing number 2. Someday now has to hobble back out. Abadaga's the only one with a good amount of health left on the side of 100 Thieves. Someday and FBI are low. Team Liquid wants to find a little bit more, but they gotta respect the gold cards. Alfari goes in. FBI loses the Immortal Shield Bow, and CoreJJ's thrown back over the wall. FBI still alive somehow. Santorin with an audacious charge over the wall as they continue looking for 100 Thieves carries. Piercing arrow, not gonna find the mark, and it doesn't even need to. Shock blast point blank with the 12 gauge. Alfari's got him, and Team Liquid strikes back.
Nice shooting Tex. Alfari's gonna do it himself. Takes his Hex Tech hammer right down in the hearts of 100 Thieves. Flowers, at the beginning of this, I'm just thinking in my mind, Huhi has a death wish. Look at him. He's chunked out to 40% before the fight even starts, and he flash engages this. This is very, very, very high confidence in Stopwatch. But Stopwatch buys him a little time. Guess what? Santorin can just Xin Zhao ultimate. So they take down Huhi immediately after that. Xin Zhao ultimate buys Santorin plenty of time to disengage, and Team Liquid, with the range advantage there, they've got the Jace LeBlanc and Varus. It's so easy with these 3 ranged carries to be able to focus fire. And focus in these early fights is the critical matter. So they focus down both front line members. Huhi, and then take down the Olaf. It's easy to chase through the rest of the members after you've already taken down the 2 front line. And it's just a really big overcommitment from 100 Thieves. I do not think they took into account even the possibilities of Xin Zhao ultimate there as far as the timing window. Huhi getting chunked out so heavily before it even started really cost them.
And maybe Huhi's thought was Santorin's ulti is probably still off cooldown for a moment longer, and he wants to go in and punish while that's not available. Unfortunately for him, Santorin's got it ready to go. They're ready to find that counterplay. They're ready to find that fight. 100 Thieves' gold lead has shrank so much. It was up around over 2,000, now just 200 after that Team Liquid team fight. Jensen's jumping in, looking for some damage onto Abadaga, but Abadaga with the ulti will force out Jensen's flash as Closer shows up to help.
Yeah, Twisted Fate's biggest answer to LeBlanc is teammates. You go for a distortion harass on me, guess what? Here's my jungler, here's my support, gank him, get him boys! Abadaga gonna be happy to get that flash out of Jensen. Because while they did get Alfari's flash in the mid-engagement, it was a really strong flash from Alfari to be able to pull in Huhi and start that whole cascade of events. They have been trying to whittle down on some of these summoner spells in preparation for their next fight. Someday here, 2v1 under the tower.
Okay, do they really want to go for anything here? They're just going to focus the tower first. Now turning their attention over to the 100 Thieves top laner. Alfari puts the last bit of damage there into the tier 1 turret. Someday is still on the run. Has to flash away to stay alive. So 100 Thieves will lose their first turret of the game as Team Liquid can retreat and not get punished for anything here just yet. Also want to point out, Abadaga going for that very utility-based TF build that is so popular these days. Everfrost into the rapid-fire cannon, gives you the extra range of the gold card to set up the picks. You just walk forward, hey, I got point-and-click CC, and now I have haha, conditional CC, but it's not really conditional because you already set yourself up for the slam dunk.
Yeah, the condition is I got my auto attack off. My extra long one. Now, that reason, though, is why in Champ Select we're focusing so much on bottom lane. Why at the beginning of the game we're drawing all arrows lead to bottom lane. Because if Twisted Fate does go, especially this build, you are lighter on the actual damage, on the actual AP threat. And that's where a lot of the concerns around the scaling of your damage output come from for the 100 Thieves lineup. Twisted Fate, I think, still can be a decent damage output. But, you know, to your point, your rapid fire is a utility buy. Yeah. It is not, you know, going for those Lich Bane type of Twisted Fate plays. It also means that you don't get to your like Stopwatch Messiah type of plays that much quicker either. So it is going to be, it's going to have to be an intelligent use from 100 Thieves as far as where they fight around, because now their damage is fully reliant on FBI, on Closer from the front line. So see if they can find their picks. Team Liquid bouncing back pretty well for themselves, especially Alfari. And I'll always point to my favorite item. I think it's just so incredibly strong.
This the Muramana angle.
It is.
This is it.
Once this bad boy transforms, god damn, that thing pumps, okay? Shock Blast,
I
really.
know how much you love this item because you talk about it every chance you
I
get. This
love
is your
it.
Skarner.
I
This
love it.
item is yours. Wait,
It's
what
the
if
only
you
reason I played Kane. I played Blue Kane because
could
of
probably
that. to
build
go
it on
that build.
Skarner? Yeah, maybe. I'll have to look up. I'm gonna have to
It's
invest
got
in
the
that.
power curve. Yeah, you got to stack it up. You got to
Yeah, you
transform
gotta stack
it. But
Of course,
once you transform, there we go.
All right, now Team Liquid still feeling pretty good about the current state of things, but there's another dragon spawning here in about 30 seconds. 100 Thieves, although it is much smaller than before, they still command the gold lead. They still have a turret lead and a Drake lead, but can they out-team fight TL for this Drake? Last time around, the answer was no. This time around, hey, 100 Thieves, let's see how hard you can flex on this. They've got the stopwatch available for their Twisted Fate. Thornmail also completed on Someday is big. It means he has proactive Grievous Wounds application.
Who he's already down to 60% though. If he takes any more poke, you know, there's Varus arrows coming through, Shock Blast coming through. This is the Team Liquid advantage. Try and poke them down, chunk them out. That's how they won the last team fight. They chunked down the front line so quickly before it even happens. Not gonna happen this time around though. Dragon already 3K and counting.
Team Liquid does not want to commit for this, it appears. Jensen jumps in, who he's going to be your target there, but now Santorin's got to be careful. CoreJJ devours him to safety, but Someday's ulti is coming through. CoreJJ is dead to rights, and Closer's the one signing the death warrant. Team Liquid continues trying to disengage. Jensen gets caught out by a rapid-fire gold card, but they will not find any further punishment. 23 minutes into the game, Baron is on the board. 100 Thieves don't have the resources or the advantages to go after that yet, but they have achieved soul point, and they got an extra kill for their trouble.
Yep, and they get their Kalista ultimate this time off this time, so even though no stopwatch on Huhi this time around, he is not punished for the flash because they get the Kalista ultimate off. FBI can pull him back. They get their soul points, and they retreat with their spoils. Let's take another look at how it started out. Now, clearing all the vision, burning it down here. You know with the Rend, they're confident to try and force, so Twisted Fate Ultimate gives the vision advantage. Then all they have to do is try and mark Santorin. You see Someday walks over here. They immediately exhaust, and Huhi Flash tries to combo him before the ult can get off, but Xin ult and TK ult both used to save him, which means CoreJJ is the one left out to dry. They take their support kill, they take their dragon, and that's what they need to keep on the power curve, because an Ocean Soul would go right into the correct place.
Oh man, that Ocean Soul will be so frightening if these guys can get a hold of it here. 3.5 minutes from now, so Team Liquid has that much breathing room.
Yeah, I mean, this to add on top of why it's such a big boon, guess what? You're getting hit with poke all over and over, Flowers, so just go hit something and you'll be able to regenerate it.
Just shoot a minion, shoot a monster camp, shoot whatever you want, and get all of that HP back. Makes life so much more difficult for LeBlanc and Jace. 100 Thieves have 3 players here in the top side, but not a whole lot to achieve. They're just going to check the brushes, make sure nobody's hiding out. Sometimes we see these kinds of plays. Now let's see
Hide on bush.
how patient can they be, my friend. This is like one of those Animal Planet shows where the cheetahs hide in the brushes waiting for the gazelle at the water
Natural
hole.
habitat. Abadaga and Closer waiting as the prey approaches. Jensen, unknowingly, will he distortion the backline? Will he distortion the backline? He does double distortion.
Double distortion means no way home. Closer gets the kill, and Jensen is taken out of the picture for 40 seconds.
It's just his natural instincts there. You gotta. Every time it feels like camera goes over Jensen and Jensen casts distortion, 300 Thieves members are there. You press distortion, you get ganked.
Now this could be a real game breaker here. 100 Thieves going after the Baron. They got a 5v4. They jump in on Santorin with a Someday ulti coming through, able to find 2. Santorin's going to be focused, tries to get himself away, but he's thrown right back into the mix. 100 Thieves are pulled away from the Baron, and they find a single kill on the enemy support. 5v3 on the map. Jensen will respawn in 5 seconds. He does have teleport, so the trade is you stop the Baron for a kill.
Definitely a worthy sacrifice. Baron gives way more than a kill's worth of gold and experience. And probably, especially considering how much you can take with it, maybe like tenfold. So
it's a lot. You will definitely bench your Kench in favor of not
an
letting them have
honorable
this.
sacrifice, for sure.
CoreJJ doing the dirty work that needs dirty deeds done dirt cheap. That's support CoreJJ, making sure he's the noble sacrifice. Now, 90 seconds. This is so important. Team Liquid must be there in time to not be late to the party for this Drake. When you're up against a Kalista team, when you're up against an Olaf that can just Ragnarok and not be forced out of the pit for any reason, they must be ready. And oh look, here's our
Animal Planet.
Yeah, here's our National Geographic close-up cam of exactly what happens when you go too close to the watering hole.
Nature, the Jensen double distortions to clear the wave. However, unbeknownst to him,
You're really getting into this. You're
faded the brush.
We've done the lore reading today. We've done the.
We're making the full.
We've done the nature documentary. We're setting ourselves up.
We're actually going to open an entire channel, not just a new show. And
this will be our new pregame content if we need more ideas in the future. We're just going to start doing National Geographic stuff.
All right, meanwhile, it's going to be Dragon Soul time, Captain Flower. Sound the horns. The bottom lane Bonanza's been quiet for a while. You know, it's been a while since our double KOs of both AD carries going at each other. Well, it's about to continue. 22 seconds and counting. 100 Thieves trying to get into the river. Team Liquid already with vision control, though, so they can make the most of their poke.
And I like the fact that you say sound the horns, because Someday is ready to go here with this ulti. Notice how he has Cleanse swapped in with his Summoner Spellbook. It means he will not be able to be interrupted with CC, so they can cancel the second half of the ulti. He is prepared for that potential option. Who he steps forward. Jensen's ready to make some sort of a move, but now he's going to be jumped on. CC comes down, CoreJJ with a save. Santorin trying to find a way to fight his way out of this, but he's going to be focused. 100 Thieves trying to kill off the enemy jungler. They've got the kill, but it'll be a 1-for-1. Team Liquid still looking to fight back. Someday nearly dying, but he flashes away. CoreJJ with the flash and the lick to make it a second kill. 1 for 2 so far. Team Liquid looking to find even more. CoreJJ will not complete the Abyssal Voyage. Abbedagga is on the run. Keep your eyes open for Alphari with the accelerated shock blast. TL does not want to waste too much time chasing. They need to stop this soul and take the Drake.
Exactly. Enough has been done. They won. They chased them off of the soul. Soul point number 1 denied. Team Liquid will acquire Ocean Drake number 2, and we will keep the tension high, Captain Flower.
Oh, I'm loving this as a Game 5. It's always such a bummer when Game 5 isn't close, and this one is neck and neck. Here's another look, who he was the target initially, and then things get dicey.
I really like who he's positioning. You see that when Jensen goes in on him, he doesn't back down, he moves forward, thereby getting closer to the origin point of the distortion so that he can Zenith Blade on the second one. Then they open up and they can finish chasing Santorin through the stair stage, through his ultimate. So they get that kill, but Team Liquid, with Jensen using his flash to get away from FBI on the top side of the fight, he's able to escape with his life. They come out with the extra person, they chase them off the objective, but now 100 Thieves right back at it again. They've got the spears in the Baron, threatening with the Rend.
Now remember that it was Team Liquid that won the previous game.
They've got to turn, though.
With a 20-something minute Baron
They have to turn.
FBI and 100 Thieves are now trying to do the same. Baron's down to about 6K. Who he wants to go in yet again. Someday looking to follow it up here, but he's stunned up. He can't complete the second half of the ulti. CoreJJ will be the first to die. Santorin's in the middle of everybody with the damage pouring in now. The man's able to stay alive. Abbedagga going to be your next target. 100 Thieves are crushed in the enemy jungle. They're going to die, every single one. Alphari walks away, and Tactical and Jensen get the kills. Bud Light ace for Team Liquid.
That one's gonna break the back, Captain Flowers. This means Team Liquid are gonna have a huge surge in gold, and the scaling will take over. This 100 Thieves comp is going to run out of damage. Baron picked up for Team Liquid in the aftermath. They got there in time. They've got the extra poke, they have the extra range, they collapse through, and 100 Thieves, even though they turn, they can't kill.
100 Thieves tried to make this one work, to make Team Liquid answer, and answer they did. Watch Someday here. Chains of Corruption, no ult part 2.
Exactly. Nice stop there. However, they charge forward. Santorin ultimate here splits the fight by so much time. So even though they turn and they focus on him once again, Abbedagga gets chunked down on Twisted Fate after it. Those commitments from Alphari on Jace at just the right times. Like, he gets so much damage out of his Jace in these fights, utilizing both his range poke, but also fully committing melee form, giant chunks down, big stuff from him.
Holy! Shoot, that's a lot of damage. You've got 4,800
Good catch, professional.
there for Chase. I've learned since MSI. Anyway, we got Olaf doing the most damage on the side, 100 Thieves, and he's looking to do it even more, but Core JJ is a hungry, hungry catfish. Takes his jungler to safety there. Jensen is on the side. A teleport coming in from Someday to make sure his team is not caught without him. Team Liquid with the Baron, with the control. We'll see what all they can get out of this. Remember, they also need to still keep in mind that that next Drake spawns 2 minutes from now, and they cannot allow 100 Thieves to have it. Pressure in mid, pressure in bottom. It's a 4-1 split with Jensen being the split.
And they just have so much more damage on the side of Team Liquid. So 100 Thieves are basically a punching bag.
Okay, Someday fires off the ulti, finds it onto 3, knock up onto 2.
Yep.
This could be really big. Santorin with the disengage here on the ulti, trying to stay alive, and the man's doing it wonderfully. Closer's gonna be your next target. He does not have a way out. He has no Ragnarok. He's gonna revive here in the Guardian Angel, but this could be the end of the game, the end of the series. Team Liquid, it's another game with another Baron leading to another win. Someday and FBI stand against the entirety of TL. They will march down mid lane. Nexus turrets the targets. Someday and FBI putting up whatever fight they can. It's not gonna matter. They find Alfari, but that's all they're gonna get. 100 Thieves are aced. Team Liquid were put to the test in this series, and they answered the call. They earned themselves a spot in the LCS Finals.
What a year for Team Liquid. The playoffs have been such a strong resurgence. They dealt with so many obstacles during the regular season. They had coaching staff changes. They had benching Alfari, Santorin health issues, changing junglers, constantly trying to rewrite the way they see this game. And coming into playoffs, the new look has definitely paid off for them. 100 Thieves pushed them to the brink this time around.
Yes.
Game 5, make them work for it, make them stretch, make them dig deep, but Team Liquid still prevail, and they will march on to the finals.
That game was so close for 30 minutes. We had less than 1,000 gold separating the teams. It was back and forth. 100 Thieves with the constant pressure of the soul. Team Liquid with the threat of that scaling damage. And again, it came down to a Baron fight. It came down to Team Liquid team fighting. And that seems to be such a difference maker here for this squad. If anybody's gonna have a chance of knocking them down in the finals, you better be damn ready to team fight.
Happy to see it. Let's keep those fights rolling, Flowers. Definitely has been fun today. Whew.
And for 100 Thieves, the battle now just became a little bit longer. Tomorrow, we're going to see the clash between TSM and Cloud9 to see which one of those two will continue to survive. And then it'll be 100 Thieves against the winner of that next week. And if 100 Thieves can win that match, then hey, they're going to get their chance for a rematch against this TL.
Another rematch, another chance at revenge for 100 Thieves. Gonna have to see who they're gonna fight after tomorrow, though. That one is gonna be a match in its own. TSM versus Cloud9. What a banger for that last spot.
Yeah, honestly, all 4 of our teams left in contention right now for the title at the end of summer could take it. Everybody looks super strong, but damn if Liquid does not have a convincing argument for clear favorite now. They have already defeated all 3 of their potential opponents in the finals in a best of 5, 2 of which were very one-sided. And that is so promising for this squad. They have shown so much in this postseason, and I think you'd be crazy to not be excited about Team Liquid right now.
It's official. Team Liquid are your final boss of the LCS. They await their next challenger.
All right, somebody play One Winged Angel in the background, but for now, we're going to head over to the stage where Latigris is talking with Tactical in our Verizon post-game interview.
Thank you, Captain Flowers. I am here with Tactical from Team Liquid. All right, 5 games in that series. Game 3, TL 12K lead, goes to 100 Thieves. Game 4, 100 Thieves have control, goes to TL after sneaking a Baron. What were these moments like for you when it was going so back and forth and could change in an instant?
Honestly, I can't remember like all the games clearly, but I remember there was one game we were playing Calista LeBlanc and we threw. That was definitely our game to win. And we should have just played a bit more cleaner and should have won. And I don't know. I don't even know. It's just in the moment. There's like a lot of calls in the game, and it's just like based off the information I have, we just do like sporadic calls. I don't know how to explain it. I'm like too excited right now.
Well, it sounds like Team Liquid is having to focus on a lot, right? Not only are you here in playoffs, but you're bringing out these different drafts. I know that Cold was saying in the episode of Squad that you're focusing on trying to stay ahead of the curve and always thinking forward. How is that like for you, having to balance bringing out new picks as a team while also just focusing on perfecting what you need to for playoffs?
Yeah, so I do think we figured out how we want to play, and we just had this draft around it. So throughout the whole playoffs, we've just had drafts we're pretty satisfied with, and how we're playing too is I'm pretty happy with too.
I know that you're saying that there was a lot of chaos in the comms, and we've talked before about how people like CoreJJ are often leading the voice here. How are comms feeling now in playoffs with this kind of high level of intensity compared to the regular season when you're taking it game by game?
Definitely everyone is a lot more urgent in the calls. Like everyone's saying, it's not like I think this is happening. They like, this is happening, don't do this, don't do that. Or like for the most part, our comms are pretty calm. It's just like in the really tense moments, we just had a higher voice, I guess. But it wasn't like everyone's yelling at the same time. It's just like a lot of urgency and like priority in the comms. Yeah.
I mean, this series called for a lot of urgency,
Yeah.
that's for sure. So you've had a few playoffs under your belt now. This is your second year in the LCS. You have faced multiple teams here in this run. What do you feel like you are gaining from series to series now that you are inching towards that veteran side and farther away from your rookie year?
It's pretty interesting. Honestly, I'm kind of getting used to the playoffs and like high stakes games. I was pretty calm for the most part of those games, except for when we did do the big throw. I was pretty stressed after that. But after we won game 4, I was like pretty calm again. I think that's how I felt with everyone probably, because everyone's veterans here. I guess I can include myself as a fellow veteran soon. So yeah.
Yeah, working your way there, Tactical. Now, at this point, you have faced off against C9, TSM, 100 Thieves. I know in that same episode of Squad, Alfari was saying that he wasn't as impressed by 100 Thieves. He thought C9 and TSM were going to be more threats. Having the experience in best ofs against all three, who do you think is the biggest threat that will be joining you in the grand finals of the LCS here in summer?
It's pretty hard to say out of the three who's going to be the best. I mean, definitely there was more volatility in their games today than the other series, but I still think there's no really like preference to who to play against. I think we could be against everyone pretty comfortably, as long as we're on the game and we just don't make like really dumb mistakes.
Keep yourself away from the mistakes and towards the victories. Tactical, thank you so much for joining me for this interview. Go ahead and do yo thing. Everybody, we are going to kick it to a brief preview of our next episode of Next Level, and then after the break, we will have our State Farm Analyst Desk getting you ready to wrap up the day. We'll see you there.
We beat 100 Thieves. There was this guy that bet like a lot of money that 100 Thieves was gonna win. He just messaged me. He was so mad.
Was that the Kane
Too
game?
funny. Yeah. He lost a lot of money on sure. The way the water polo is, it's like hard. It's hard for the refs to see a lot of the stuff that goes on under the water. So there's like a whole other part of the game.
They're like trying to drown each other.
I mean.
I do the audio cast for the LCS. The reason that it is so difficult, I think, is that every word you say has to count.
Wait, did your mom play League?
Yeah, she did actually. She played like 400 co-op versus AI games.
Wow.
She was the biggest noob.
Have you ever jungled for her?
No.
Co-op versus AI? Dude, it's time. She's played 400 games, man. She's like competent.
Yeah.
You would think so. Nah, she's learning.
What a day, and welcome back to the
They thought I was gonna look dumber.
LCS.
I didn't look that dumb this time.
Honestly, not what I expected, but I will say, I think Kobe said it best. Team Liquid are your new final boss when it comes to the LCS, being the first to book their ticket to the LCS Championship.
And I gotta say, even though this is a 5-game series, I think their boss status is still intact, because this kind of looked like a 4-1 in a lot of ways when we consider the circumstances under which one of these games was played. And in this game, honestly, I had some concerns once I saw the Tahm Kench out of TL. We were talking
Mark doesn't share those concerns,
yeah,
so don't
Mark
worry.
loved it. Mark loved it, but Raz and I had some concerns about the Tahm Kench and what it might be able to do in team fights. But ultimately, honestly, I think TL was just proving themselves to be the better team.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game, I know a lot of people had a lot of thoughts on the draft, myself included, but when you look at how they actually won the game, I think a lot of it was due to execution. I think that final Baron call that ended up happening, like, already from a mile away, I was like, this is a horrible call, because TL were ready for it. So I think when you look at a lot of these fights, they kind of got outplayed by Team Liquid, who, to your point, you could say played better the majority of the series. Like that game throw that was in game 3 was a disaster. You shouldn't lose any game up 12K, but it is a situation where Team Liquid looked like a better team.
Yeah, and this Dragon fight was pretty important. Just in general, the fact they were getting to a soul fight, and a lot of the times it was whether they wanted to push further for a kill, or take a step back, take the win, a resource advantage win, knowing that the enemy team had like 20% HP and all that, and would be in a worse position for a better fight. So they'll be, replaying those fights for sure in their head as they're going into the lower bracket now. A lot to take over, but if you're 100 Thieves, I mean, I think there are a lot of great takeaways. Compositionally, how they view the draft, like how they should kind of look at the top lane and see how Someday fits the rest of the at least what his playstyle will be, because there are a lot of great carry top laners that will go up against him.
I want to take a look at 2 specifics from this 5th and final game in particular. First and foremost is an individual play from our player of the series, Alphari, on the Jace. Mark, I'm going to hand this off to you because it's something I don't think anyone would have expected.
No, I think this was such an interesting timing window that Alphari uses while his wave is pushed in. Instead of trying to roam from top lane down, he resets, and off the reset just sprints through bot river, flash jumps on the TF. It is such a weird angle that you would just never think a Jace is going to come out of your bot river, not on a TP, not anything normal, just goes in there and helps neutralize some of this TF pressure that they were worried against playing against.
Holy crap, these stats though.
I didn't realize he was deathless
The Undying!
all 3 of those winning games.
I don't know if you know this, but Alphari is a pretty good player. And that's why he's the player of the series, because he popped off in the wins. And even in the losses, I think he looked pretty incredible.
Yeah, and this is some terrifying new tech from Team Liquid. Because when I think Alphari, I think this guy is side lane all game, right? Just getting lane kingdom, lane advantages constantly. But here, we saw him getting involved early to create advantages for other lanes. And this is a big criticism that people have had earlier in the split, myself included. He wins lanes, but he does not win games. And now he did both.
We even actually saw the double TP from each top laner coming down to the bot lane pretty early on as well. Now, granted, it didn't net anything. Again, speaks to the fact that Alphari is looking for those moments where he can affect the rest of the map. But that play we took a look at, that was 9 minutes into the game. So what an effective choice, right? In terms of, the economy of time spent to intelligently back at the right time for the sake of his own wave, but then to use that time back out on the map in the most efficient way possible to maximize the advantage. It was massive.
It was incredible. And even in the play that you were talking about when he TP'd bot and it fizzled, that worked actually worse for Ornn, worse for Someday, because he didn't get Alphari set up the wave really well. So that's just been a consistent advantage for Team Liquid when Alphari's on your team, that he's always, minded on getting a minion advantage, trading incredibly well, and then being able to translate that towards the team has always been kind of the next step. That worked well in Spring. So I always felt like that was there when they went towards the finals. Now they got the whole crew back together, and they're going to be playing in the finals and waiting for, the challengers.
Exactly. From here, let's roll ourselves forward to about 30 minutes into the game. That Baron fight that we were talking about. Maybe not the slickest of calls here by 100 Thieves to invite TL in for this brawl in the upper river.
I do want to say it is still very well played by Team Liquid. Here, the root by Varus hit Ornn mid-ultimate, so he can not get the knock-up onto the Tahm Kench, who had devoured Alphari, and that allows TK to kind of kite that out, get Alphari to a safe space. By that time as well, Tactical was dropping a lot of damage, and Jensen was on the backside of the fight the entire time, just threatening the rest of 100 Thieves. So it was a situation that 100 Thieves opted into. It was risky given that they got blue trinketed out at pretty high HP. They never were in threat range to actually take that Baron. It had to be a turn, and Team Liquid kited it out.
I'd like just to make a note that throughout the series, during the Ornn games, like there were multiple times, to your point, like that the Ornn ulti was just being canceled out. They were very well-minded in those chaotic team fights in a side lane situation that just for him to not be able to get his second reactivation of ult off. So just really great, especially when I mentioned focus. They were focused this game during those team fights. Great play overall from Team Liquid.
Noted. Now, as we look at our bracket, Team Liquid, they have locked their spot in our championship match, which will take place next week. They, of course, await the winner of tomorrow's lower bracket battle first between TSM and Cloud9.
When is that game happening?
Winner of that.
I think it's tomorrow, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay. You actually gave me pause.
What
bars.
time?
I was like, did I not say?
But James, what time is it at?
What time? What year,
I can't get in my head like that, bro. Can't do that to me. It's at 1 p.m., Mark.
Okay, you throw this host curveballs and cracks.
1 p.m. tomorrow. I don't do well in the unproven territories, in the unknown territories. Okay, so tomorrow is Cloud9 versus TSM. Winner of that will move on to face 100 Thieves, and then winner of that challenges TL for the title. So while 100 Thieves, kind of awaits each of those teams in the next match, I would say, even though they did fall down here, I actually, in some senses, was inspired more by 100 Thieves' play today than their previous series.
Yes, I was. And the reason for it was, when it got to Game 5, look at the bans. 3 bans towards Closer.
Yeah.
He took a lot of pressure from the enemy team. He was still, for me, he was still performing. I think Closer turns into a superstar during the playoffs. And there were a lot of concerns when it came to 100 Thieves, like what was going to be an attribute for them? What is going to be their strengths? Still incredibly strong team fighting because they have damn good players in FBI and Closer. And he gave them a game. And that's one of those things that, like, sure, the Team Liquid will look at and the fans will say, okay, yeah, recognizing Team Liquid's errors, but it was 100 Thieves' mechanical play, recognizing mistakes in the enemy teams that got them into the series and got them to Game 5.
I think a lot of the teams who have lost in the upper bracket have taken a big learning from that situation. So I think if you look at Game 1 draft, for example, for 100 Thieves, none of us were big fans of it. Maybe next time you come out with a stronger game plan right out the gate.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things you're going to take things from. And they played the TL closer than any other team has up until this point. So it does speak to them being quite a good team.
TSM Cloud9, though. Talk to me about that matchup.
Well, it's going to be an absolute heater because it always is, right? And the stakes are so high for both of these teams, right? It's Worlds qualification on the line. Both of these teams have been criticized for, C9 not coming online, playoff perks, where is he? TSM being inflexible. They've tried different styles. It didn't work out. Are they going to go default to the TSM that we expect? So I'm excited for this matchup, and I'm also excited for whoever makes it to the finals, because now this is a TL who I think has left something on the table today, right? Because I don't think that Jensen had a particularly huge series that I expected of him, given his last series with Lee Sin, nor did I think Santorin was particularly stellar either. So I'm excited for all the rest of the games.
Small fun fact.
Give it to me.
All 3 teams still alive in the lower bracket. We're all put there by Team Liquid.
There it is.
Team Liquid beat Cloud9, moved on to beat TSM, moved on to beat 100 Thieves. And now those are the 3 remaining teams in the lower bracket looking to come back for a chance to take down that Team Liquid squad.
United by
I just want to
revenge.
throw that out
There it is. I like it.
United in rivalry?
Yeah.
In revenge?
Made by many.
There it is.
Yeah.
LCS.
Ruled by one? What was the summer follow-up?
LCS ruled by one.
No, wait. What was the whatever?
I don't know where you're
going.
Oh my.
The promo in summer was different. Spring was made by many. I'm pretty sure summer.
Made by many, ruled by one.
Either way.
There you go.
Either way. Like, I look at this next matchup that's coming tomorrow. You see 2 of the historic LCS organizations, C9 versus 100 Thieves. Many finals that have been between both of them. Big gambit between both of them. How much they spend recognizing that they wanted to get to Worlds, and one of them is not going to be able to, and it would be a colossal failure. Those type of things. Also, the sword and the shield, completely different play styles and how they want to play it out. I think this is just going to be a damn bang.
Someone's holding a very expensive receipt at the end of this with nothing to show for it.
That's a fantastic.
Yeah, and whatever happens, there will be salt.
There will be salt. And you know what? That's the note we're going to leave it on here today. That's going to do it for us today on our Saturday day of play at the LCS. So on behalf of myself, the casters, the entire broadcast crew, thank you so much for watching. We'll see you tomorrow for more LCS. Until then, stay healthy, stay safe, and be good to each other. Good night.
Oh, what the hell?
I have an $11 million...